Keith here. Wanted to go ahead and first off make sure you could hear me. I guess is the first thing. So I'll check that. Let's see here. View my channel. It should come up as live. I wanted to go ahead and talk some more about the scales and practice, and what seems to work from time to time. So let me see if this is working. Okay, looks like it is. It's a little weak on the. Yeah, you can hear that. Okay, good. So let me mute this. If you want to comment or in the chat, go ahead. But one of the things I've been doing some lessons about is just some basic scales, the pentatonic scales, and you see a lot about it on the internet. I mean, there's some really monster guitar players that play out there. I mean, you listen to the best players in the world play guitar, and they'll show you pretty much everything they know. But one of the things that I thought was perhaps missing, is as I said in my first video, is they've been playing for 25 years, in some cases 30 years, some even longer. And how do you incrementally get to their level of fingerboard dexterity without just copying every lick that they do all the time? And they do make really wonderful suggestions. They tell you the scales to practice, but they don't actually show you incrementally how to do it, because if you try to learn some of these scales as fast as they play them, you're basically just practicing the same lick over and over and over again, which, by the way, it's fine. I mean, you'll get your chops together doing it that way, as we say. But in between the time when you're doing that, it's always good to get some basis of the neck and play some scales. Now, I basically started with the pentatonic. Scales, the ones we all, I guess some of you may know. So on and so forth. You know what I'm talking about. So then, you can play them a lot of different ways. A couple ways I kind of introduced was pick them all down. And of course, you definitely want to play with a metronome when you're practicing them to get that good time. And I have a habit of trying to force things and jumping ahead. You don't really want to do that. So, play with the metronome. But a couple different things I wanted to show you. We concentrated on the major scales based on the kind of CAGED system, where you start down here with this chord. Well, what's the pentatonic over that? And I had you play them all down and then all up, of course. And somebody said, why do you play them all up? Well, it has a little different feel and sound when you're playing that way, especially if you're recording. I heard a couple cats in Nashville talk about they use a lot of up picks, and if you watch them, they get a nicer sound or a softer sound sometime with an up pick than they do with the down pick. So it's just a thing to have in your arsenal of tricks. But then we went from that, and we'll just work down here for now. I said, you want to go ahead and learn the major scales. And we did them all down picks, all up picks, all down, up. And you should do them up, down, 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 up, up. Every combination you can think of, depending upon how much time you have. It's a great way to practice. One of the things that you want to do, I would say, is understand that the C scale, when you start here, some folks were a little bit confused. This is playing this caged approach, this pentatonic scale that works over that inversion of a C chord. And then I take that and turn it into a major scale by adding the fourth and the seventh degree, which is also a good thing to learn. Now, you can put the notes below it, you know, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, E, F, G, A. And that pretty much covers everything in C in that position, which is a good thing to do. You know, but basically you want to practice the patterns first. Now, what you can do, since you're learning it in the CAGED system, right? It starts on the 5, and a lot of times I stop there, and sometimes I make a mistake and forget that somebody's trying to follow me when I'm playing, and I put another note in it. It's just out of habit. So that would be the C scale, as I said in lesson 1. But what you want to do then too is to start it from C to C and learn it 2 octaves straight through. So that's a good thing to do. And then play your C scale starting with every finger. Okay, that would be the second. Then play with the first finger. And there's a lot of ways to get up to the next octave. And it on there. And then go up here and do it with every finger. I developed the habit of always going back down. Do it with your third finger. You know, there's the option of sliding down or here. It doesn't really matter. Learn them both, I guess. You know, if you're strictly playing and you're playing the C in 6th position, you know, it would use your pinky to get these. But you know, look, it's a sound you're after. You're not after like a mechanical thing. So play it with a metronome. You can go back or forward or however you want, just as long as the notes come out, whatever's comfortable for you. Then play it with the second finger, which of course we did that, which is kind of in the CAGED system. And then play it with the first finger. You can add the extra note. You know, and then you know, you want to go up here and play it with all the C's. And with the third finger, and then with your second finger. You know, and they used to call that, we used to call that every C. In playing it, and you know, take it 2 octaves. So then you learn the K system, you learn the major scale system, at least straight through. Now there's all sorts of ways to learn a couple more things, but at least that'll get you started. And it's a great place to start. If you keep doing those every day, you'll find that some of the things you're trying to work out that some of these players have been playing for years and years and years will become easier because your fingers will move with the fluidity that you probably weren't used to. So. And again, it's more like kind of calisthenics. You know, you want to play it as musical as possible. Some calisthenics that I used to practice all the time, it wasn't very musical, but it would help me overcome some technical difficulties. You know, I always talk about down up. You can just sit there and do that. Just do 1, 2, 3, 4. And in addition to that, you can do down, down, up, up. Any combination like that. You can up, down. Oh. Where you're playing the first one on the string with an up pick. And I saw a teacher showed me one time years and years ago that if you keep all these fingers down while you're doing it, if you're doing every one, you can do it, keep your first finger here. Kind of is a really good exercise too. Any variation that you can come up with, it's really valuable. The other thing too is when you're experimenting, like if you're doing a C scale, you can do what's called seconds. Just start with the note above it and go back one note. And then when you're going the other way, it goes to the one below it. I always like to end it. Now, again, you can play it just starting on C, or in this case, playing it from the CAGED system, where you start you base it on the pentatonic pattern, and then add the fourth and the seventh in it to get a C scale. You can get these. Oh. You get them quite fast. Yeah, I haven't practiced those in a while. Then you can do thirds too, like start with, here in this case, you'd start with G. If you're playing it from the cases, is just skip a note and then do every other note. You do stuff like that, which is good. And you can also do it in fourths. Anything like that, or fifths, sixths, sevenths, and eighths. It's just a matter of sitting down and doing it and working it out. Those were the scales that I used to, at guitar lessons, folks used to show me, and it really helped my finger. Now I'm lucky I have long, thin fingers, so but if you practice those things like that,